It's another Sunday special, and we're sitting here in the steamy, hot Arcadia Ice Center. We've got Lyndsey Fry with me. I'm going to call her the First Lady of Women's Hockey in Arizona. First Lady of Hockey in Arizona. How about that? Lyndsey, welcome in.
Thank you.
You know, it seems like we don't get to do this often enough, and the reason I say that is that every time I turn around, you're doing something special. So not too long ago, you got a gold medal, right? And the Small Fries program is growing leaps and bounds every day. So let's start off and find out a little bit about this trip on inline hockey and roller hockey. And I know that's something you wanted to do, and now you achieved gold.
Yeah. So we were in Italy. A lot of Arizona girls were there, which was awesome. And we were there for about a week and a half. And we, frankly, were not expected to do well.
Right.
A lot of our top players were at a wedding this year. So it's kind of funny. Most of the people that got recruited in to play on this year's team were ice hockey players that played at the college level. So it was just, I mean, it was amazing. Like we didn't have a great round robin. And then we just rallied together to beat Spain, who probably should have won the whole thing.
Right.
We beat them in the semis, and then we went in and played against the Czechs. And it was almost like one of those miracle situations, you know,
Right.
You beat the best team at the tournament, so, you know, you'll never forgive yourself if you don't walk away from gold in the final.
Right.
But it was incredible, just super fun, great group of women to play with, and I think it was cool to win and be able to show that, you know, to all the Small Fries here and
Right.
other girls and women around the country, and hopefully get them inspired to at least give roller hockey a shot, because it's a ton of fun.
You know, I talked to your roommate, Katie McGovern,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday special, and I commented to her that I said, how difficult was it for you to grasp the roller hockey, the inline part of it? And she said, it was some work, but man, to play at that level that quickly. So what's your side of it? How fast did she grasp it?
Did she tell you about her thumb?
She told me a little bit, but go ahead and finish it off.
So I bring Katie out for her very first time playing inline hockey ever. And it was like right toward the end of last year, and the coach has to kind of pick the team in January.
Right.
So this was like her tryout. Her very first time playing inline hockey was her tryout for the team. So she's out there, she's doing great, scored a goal. I mean, she's got a wicked quick release shot. And she kind of I don't know if she got like tripped or slew-footed or what, but she ended up slipping back and went straight down on her hand.
Oh, ouch.
And so she sits out for like, you know, there were maybe 5 minutes left in the game. So she sits out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she's tough as nails.
Right.
So I find out, you know, 2 weeks later, she broke her thumb. And at that point, I'm thinking, oh God, she's never going to play roller hockey again.
Right.
She's done. And then sure enough, she made the team, and we went over there. And we fortunately, because we both are here, we've had a lot of opportunities to train together throughout the year, which has been great. But it's a huge adjustment to go from the ice style of the game to the inline style. You know, you're playing 4-on-4, no icing, no blue lines. It's much more of a possession game.
Right.
But when you are playing it at the highest levels, it's fast. It's a possession game, but it's fast. And I think she'll probably tell you the same thing. Her and I were on a line together, and it took us, you know, we kept getting better every single game.
Right.
So by the final game, you know, she and I looked like roller hockey players, but our first game, we were all over the place. So it was awesome, though. We had a lot of fun.
So you guys win gold. It's kind of the theme of USA women's hockey for the year, right?
Right?
I mean, the
I
ice
love
hockey
that.
team finally gets that gold. I haven't talked to you since then, but tell me what you were thinking that night. I mean, as close as you were, what was it like to actually see that happen?
Oh man, honestly, they did not play very well the first 2 periods, and they will tell you that. I was just with Danny Cameronese this past weekend,
Right.
And she said the same thing, so I don't feel as bad saying that. So yeah, I mean, at first I was like, oh my God, I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull this thing off. But when they started putting out their third and their fourth line more in the third period, and those lines just started buzzing and generating a ton of energy for the
Right.
team. All of a sudden, we popped in a couple goals. And I think at that point, I felt like, as a player who's been in that situation, I felt the shift.
Yeah.
And as soon as they went into that locker room for overtime, I knew they had it, because that was the exact situation we had been in 4 years before.
Right.
And having been in that locker room and been in that situation, coming away with silver, I knew they were going to come out with all the fire in the world, and they did. And they pulled it off, and I had so much fun watching. I was actually with Vanessa Maines and Natalie Rossi.
Right.
The three of us were all like in our jerseys and cheering, and it was super fun. But I mean, that's what that team did, is they brought together girls and women's hockey communities all over the country, and it's just an amazing memory we can all share together.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about small fries. All right, we're back with Lyndsey Fry again, the First Lady of Hockey in Arizona. And Lyndsey, let's talk about a passion that I know you told me about 3 years ago when I first visited with you, that this was something you wanted to do. It's called Small Fries. It's taken shape, it's taken form, and tell me what's been going on.
Yeah, so it's a project with the Arizona Coyotes, fully funded by the NHL and the NHLPA, which we're super fortunate to have that support and those resources. But it's an all-girls hockey development program, really designed for girls who are just kind of getting into the sport.
Right.
We piloted it last year with 20 girls, and this summer we went into our first year of our full-blown program, and we had 56 girls total our first year go through the program here in the state of Arizona, which, going from when I was younger, there were maybe 10 girls in a 5-year age span who were playing hockey. That's pretty, I mean, we are very, very proud of that. The girls are ages 6 through 12, and the idea is that Small Fries is really meant to be a bridge program. It's meant to take the girls who have gone through Little Howlers and bring them into an environment where they're playing with and amongst other girls. They're being coached by all women. We have an all-female staff, which is incredible.
Right.
And they're kind of in that environment to build their confidence along with their skills. One thing that, we've noticed, I was never this girl growing up. I didn't think twice about going and battling in a corner with a boy.
Right.
But from a lot of the feedback we're getting from parents is that, they didn't think their daughters liked hockey, or they didn't think their daughters were good at hockey. And our program has proven that neither of those things are true. They just were a little bit intimidated by the boys.
Right.
A lot of boys, they don't even think twice about racing to a puck in the corner. Girls sometimes are a little more analytical. They think about, I'm not that great at stopping yet, so if I go into that corner, I might not be able to slow down. I might get hurt. I might, whatever it is.
Right.
And our program has kind of allowed a lot of these girls to come out of their shells as people and also as players. And we have them doing drills where they're linking arms and they're bumping shoulders as hard as they can. So we're definitely bringing in the physical aspect of the game, making sure they're tough and ready to go, and then we push them back out into the co-ed hockey leagues around town, the house leagues. My philosophy has always been play with the boys as long as you can. It's, until they're about 10 to 12 years old, they're all kids.
Yep.
There's no reason why they can't be playing together. But we're currently working on kind of the next phase of the program, which will still allow girls to play with each other while playing for the co-ed leagues. The reason we want to have some sort of option for them at those super young ages is to continue to build the girls hockey community at a young age, and make sure that they all want to play with each other when they get older.
And some of the things that I think have changed over time, and you can certainly attest to this, is that as you talked about when you were growing up, it was like play with the boys or don't play, right?
Yeah.
Now we're starting to see women's programs at the college level, and the numbers of those women are increasing, and people, I just look at the roster at Grand Canyon and at ASU, and I start to see these girls coming from predominantly hockey states, Canada. They're coming to Arizona. So talk about that sense of pride. It has to make you feel. I mean, I give you that nickname, and we kind of joke about it, but I truly believe that were the inspiration for women's hockey in Arizona. I think people wanted to be like you.
Well,
they still do.
That's very, very sweet of you to say. But I certainly can't take all that credit by any stretch. I mean, what Lyndsey has done at ASU and what Natalie's doing at GCU with our girls is amazing. I think, we recognize as a core group of Arizona women involved in hockey that we want it to be different now than it was for us when we were younger. And then you have somebody like a Natalie who didn't grow up here. She grew up in New Jersey. She's had an opportunity to grow up around a girls' hockey program and around a ton of college hockey in New England. So you have people like her who know what it can be.
Yep.
You have people like me and a lot of the other girls who grew up here in Arizona who know what we didn't have when we were younger. And now that we're able to all kind of come together and work together and collaborate from, top down, I mean, from everywhere, small fries to the college hockey level and everything in between, we now are finally really coming together and making this all happen. And you're seeing the results of it now with all these different programs and the increasing number in girls hockey. I mean, we've grown, I think it's 150% over the last 5 years for girls hockey. It's amazing. So we're going to keep building. We're going to keep growing. And it's a team. It's a team effort for sure.
So when you look at it right now, then the obvious question would be, how big can this get? I mean, do we see Tucson? Do we see Flagstaff? Do we see other markets here in the Desert Southwest start to grow this too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tucson's biggest constraint is they only have ice in for,
right.
X number of months during the year. But we actually have a girl from Tucson who drives up for small fries on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays all summer. She was driving up to the Phoenix area. We've got a girl from Yuma who drives all the way over. We don't have any from Flag, although we've been talking a little bit with some people up in Prescott and up in Flagstaff. So to answer your question, I mean, absolutely. It's, are we going to necessarily do full-blown small fries programs in all those areas? Probably not, just because of staffing. I think we really cherish the fact that we're able to have an all-female staff. We think it's really important for the brand.
Right.
We think it's really important for the girls. They get plenty of male coaching.
Yeah.
It's important for them to get quality female coaching. So we'll probably start looking into doing some, small fries mobile visits. That we've kind of been talking about that and seeing where that's going to go. But we are also really lucky because, we soon will have close to 60 certified female coaches in the state of Arizona between the college programs and getting all those girls certified, as well as those of us who are a little bit older and already are certified. So that is something, if you had told me 20 years ago we were going to have 60 plus women as certified coaches in the state of Arizona, I would have told you were nuts.
Right.
But that's the power of kind of the trickle effect of having programs at every level of the game. We all are a community and we all help each other out, and it's really showing right now.
Let's take another quick break. We'll come back and wrap things up with him. We'll talk a little bit more about the growth of women's hockey.
Excellent.
We're back to wrap up another Sunday special here. As you can see, the little fog out there on the ice here at Arcadia. It's pretty typical in the summer in Arizona. And Lyndsey Fry, you've seen that for a long time now, haven't you?
Absolutely.
But it's nice, right? You come in flip-flops, you put your skates on, you get out and play. Can't beat it, can you?
It's the best.
So speaking of can't beat it, let's talk a little bit about your adventures and some of the things you've been doing all the time.
It never ends.
Talk a little bit about your camp, your travels, things that you've been doing in the past couple of months or so.
Yeah, man, I've been all over. So, in addition to what I do with the Coyotes, running small fries and continuing to constantly work on that and help that evolve and grow and recruit and all those good things. I also still run my own business with Lyndsey Fry Hockey, and kind of kicked off this season actually back in April or May with Seattle. So I did Seattle then, I did my Chandler camp in June, and then I actually was just on a 10-day trip, did LA, Portland, and Montana. So I still have New Mexico and Minot, North Dakota. So I'm all over the map, definitely with a Western focus. That's kind of the niche that I work with within my business. I absolutely love it. So I'm doing that. I was just in Minnesota this past weekend coaching a West Coast kind of elite travel team for a bunch of U12 players. So that was a lot of fun. They played 2 levels up and they competed. It was a lot of fun. Helping out with the college teams where I can, and it's been really good. So can't complain.
I want to talk to you about 2 things. You brought up Seattle, and obviously now it's not official yet, but we're pretty official that they're going to get an NHL franchise here in the very near future.
Yep.
What's hockey like in Seattle?
Well, I can really only speak to the girls' hockey. It's there's a really great program up there that I work with a lot called the Wild Women's Hockey Association, or Washington Wild, I don't know. It's WWFA for short.
WWFA.
WWFA. And they're awesome. Great organization, great people. They have, I think, about 10 teams now, started years back with only 2, so they've grown a lot. I've learned a lot from them about growing hockey programs for sure, but it's great. I mean, the state of hockey there is wonderful, and whenever I go up there, I mean, the buzz and the chatter at the rink about getting a new program is insane. I mean, they are so excited about that. They told me some crazy stat, like however long it took for them to sell out Vegas season tickets,
right?
It took Seattle like 17 minutes. It was something crazy.
Yeah.
So they are fired up about it. They're so excited about it, and I really hope they get a team.
Well, I think that's just a matter of a formality now from everything that I hear. But when we talk professional hockey, let's talk a little bit about women's professional hockey and the NWHL, right?
Yeah, yep.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have a lot of friends playing in that league. They love it. It's super competitive hockey. You got, a lot of the Olympians playing, a lot of D1 college players who have made the transition into the professional game, and now we just got an expansion team. And, I think to even say that it's expanding is a really positive sign. From a business perspective, they're going to continue to have to overcome a lot of challenges. Of course, now that you're adding a Midwest team, there's going to be a lot of travel involved in figuring out how that's going to work. But I think they have the right, brains in the room. I think they have the right people involved, and I think they're going to pull it off. And it makes sense to have a team in Minnesota. So I'm excited about it. I know that all the Olympians really love it and rely on it to continue to play, because other than that, it's tough. So it's awesome. It's going to be really fun to watch, and I would just encourage everyone, especially those of you who are passionate about growing girls and women's hockey around the country, even if your daughter's only 5 years old right now, watch those games. They're streamed online, because at the end of the day, it's not going to grow unless there's the viewership. So every little thing that we can do, even from here in Arizona, to help show our support of the league, only helps benefit the future of the game.
So let's dream a little bit. 5 years down the road, any chance we get a franchise down here?
I don't know if we're going to get a franchise down here in 5 years. What I think would be super cool, and nobody quote me on this because I'm just throwing ideas out there, but I think, why not have an NWHL tournament down here in the dead of winter, when all those girls are freezing their tails off? Bring them down to Phoenix. I think that'd be great. Why not?
So when we get this new arena over at ASU, it's a great place to have it, isn't it?
You know, I'll talk to Greg and see what we can make happen.
Lyndsey, as always, I appreciate the time. I know you got to get back on the ice because if you're not flying on an airplane, you're on the ice somewhere.
That is
right?
true.
So I appreciate your time as always. Congratulations again on getting that gold medal in the inline, and of course, congratulations on the silver and the success of Small Fries is something that everybody in Arizona is very proud of.
Awesome. Thank you so much for everything, Scott. I appreciate it.